Sam Howell enters the spring as QB1. And John Keim wrote a fantastic story over the weekend about Sam Howell and about how that is the case and why that is the case, especially when you compare it to last year when this team seemingly went all in on finding any quarterback option from outside the house, if you will. Of course, they do that extremely early in free agency, making the trade technically before free agency even opens for Carson Wentz. And then they wind up being able to get a guy that they had a day 2 type of grade on. John, in the story, suggests that it was a third-round grade, second-round grade for some, third-round grade for some. But they really genuinely liked him. And like a lot of teams, they treat quarterback differently than a lot of other positions. Every other position gets put in these tiers, and we've talked about this so much leading up to the draft. Logan and I have gone super deep on this on Take Command, but basically the way a draft board is set is not like players ranked 1 through 300 or however many you want to rank. Obviously, it's probably closer to 200 because there's a bunch of guys that don't make a certain team's board for whatever reasons. They red flag them off the board for injury, character, or just like, hey, yeah, I know other teams might have a draftable grade, but like we don't think that dude's good enough. He's not on our board. Scheme fit, whatever. It goes in tiers. Tier 1 players across, Tier 2 players across, Tier 3 players across. And then amongst those tiers, you certainly rank guys within them. And then based off positional value and need, you might bump a guy not up in terms of tier, but you might draft him above another guy that another team might have higher because they don't need the position you do. But what you won't do is say you need defensive end and you don't need corner. If you have a Tier 2 corner on the board, you're not taking a Tier 3 defensive end. That is not the same for quarterback. At the quarterback position, it's binary. We need one, we're taking one when we want to, and this is the guy we're targeting in this round, or we're not. And the Commanders last year were essentially a we're not team, at least in the first 4 rounds. Well, lo and behold, they get through round 4. Sam Howell, who they had a round 2-3 grade on, and would have taken there if they hadn't made the move they did for Carson Wentz. They're like, well, we need a quarterback late in this draft to be our 3 anyway. We're going to trade up and go get Howell. This year, they weren't interested at all. Why is that? And that's the question John explored in this piece. And the answer is multifaceted. Rookie contract is obviously super appealing. They genuinely believe in the talent, and they don't want to do anything long-term. They didn't like the options. Obviously, I think that's got to be a part of it. But they feel like they got burned by the Wentz deal, and so they don't want to repeat that same mistake. And as we talked about on the show late last week, there are so many national pundits that think that this is a massive mistake. Now, some of them are easy to pick out. I like Matt Miller a lot. NFL draft analyst for ESPN, the Bleacher Report forever. He's so good. He was on the show with us last week. I loved having him. But Matt made some waves over the weekend. He was on with Linnell over on The Fan, and he compared Sam Howell to Colt McCoy. And one of the things he says in there is like, oh, there's a lot of questions about the arm strength. And I'm like, okay, we can just go ahead and summarily dismiss that. That is not accurate. Sam Howell, and look, there are a lot more accurate ways to rate players than Madden ratings, but they don't give out a 90 arm strength in Madden for dudes who don't have, like, crazy arms. Howell's got ridiculous arm strength. Maybe in college he didn't show it as much. Maybe there's something on tape that made Matt think that he doesn't have it. He underthrew some deep balls or something. I don't know. Everything I've seen is that kid's got a cannon arm. And, from velocity on slants or in-breaking routes to the zip to get the ball in the deep outs to the deep balls having not just the distance to get there, but the proper, trajectory. He's got a great touch on it as well. Like, the arm strength thing, if that's your reason, like that, or you're reading other analysts who put that as the reason, so, okay, well, now at least we've diagnosed the problem. Your analysis is wrong. You just don't have the facts. So that could be part of it is people just don't really know what Sam Howell is, whether they think they do and they have it wrong, or they just don't know. And like that is legitimate, right? Not knowing what a guy is and just going, well, there's a reason that a lot of teams passed on him to the 5th round. There's got to be a reason. He's got to be flawed. There's no way he can produce is a reasonable expectation. And by the way, when you're Washington, when you're this team, and you've been bad for as long as you've been bad, you don't get the benefit of the doubt. When you're Ron Rivera and the only great quarterback you've ever had is Cam Newton, and at the end of that experience, you have a lot of people wondering what would have happened for Cam's career, how good could he have been if you had done better by him, you don't get to be like, well, we've got it figured out and everyone else is missing, and you get the benefit of the doubt. That's a reasonable thing. I disagree, and for reasons I'll get into, I think it's ridiculous that the Commanders are 27th, 25th, 30th in a lot of these rankings when they were 8-1 last year, and the defense that carried them there is largely intact. But there are legitimate questions. But I think the thing that people forget, or that people didn't watch close enough, and this is the nature of national versus local media. It's why local media is so important, but also why national media is important. Sometimes we, locally, get a little over our skis because we don't have the perspective of everyone. We don't have the global view. We don't have the intense knowledge that we do of our local team of others. And so we say things, and then people that watch like 70% as much, but do it of all the teams are like, no, you're a fool. You're way too invested in, and you're way overvaluing your own guys. We've seen that with, GMs do this all the time. See Wizards, Washington. Or, Commanders, Washington, frankly. We value what we know, what's familiar to us. We do this in the draft. Oh, I've heard of that player, so he must be good. He must be better than the small school guy I've never heard of, even though I haven't watched 1 ounce of tape on either. It doesn't make any sense. But people do that all the time. Familiarity is comfort. So Mike Clay of ESPN today put out a list of top receiver groups. He had the Commanders 11th. I've been saying all offseason, I think they're the second best group in the league behind Cincinnati. There's obviously other great ones. I'll pull up his list later in the show and we'll talk about it, or in the next segment maybe we'll talk about it. But I would certainly still, after looking at it, I was like, yeah, okay, they're really good. You look at what Seattle's got, right? Like Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. He's got them higher than McLaurin, Dotson, and Samuel. I disagree. Pretty vehemently, actually. But do I think that's outrageous? No. Do I understand why a team or a national guy might think that? Yeah. But when it comes to Howell specifically, I just think the ecosystem he's coming into is so friendly. And I saw what they were last year with the bad quarterback play, and I just don't really understand the level of pessimism. I'm not telling you they're awesome. I'm not telling you this is going to be a top 10 offense. But the idea that they're going to be so bad, they're going to drag this defense to a point that this is one of the 5 worst teams in the league. Todd McShay does his mock draft 2024, and I get it. He's got to pick 5 teams, and it's probably better for clicks if they pick Washington, and then, because they'll be a quarterback-needy team, and, then I can put Drake May there. Okay, I get it. Fine, for the clicks. But that, to me, seems ridiculous because of all the things Orlovsky said when we just talked to him. The scheme is going to be friendly. They're going to run the ball. The defense is going to be supportive. The weapons are phenomenal. If Sam Howell's bad this year, it's because Sam Howell's not an NFL quarterback. And when I say bad, that's not telling you he's going to make a Pro Bowl. I'm not telling you he's going to be an All-Pro. I'm not telling you he's going to be awesome. But if he's bad, he's not an NFL quarterback. He's not a starter. It just is. And I believe in the system to keep this team competitive and the ecosystem that they've built, even if I do have questions about the talent. And those are the pieces that don't add up for me. That's why when I read John's story about Howell and all of the pieces that make them like him, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense to me. This isn't Washington getting way out over its skis. Is there a chance in the fall I look dumb and they look dumber? Absolutely. But I think there's a much better chance that you're going to have a lot of people on shows like NFL Live and All Access on NFL Network or Total Access and anywhere else they talk about football going, well, I think we underrated Washington. Sam Howell, story of the season through X number of weeks. I think that percentage is a lot higher, and they're going to be competitive in this extremely competitive division, unless the Eagles, of course, run away with another 14-3 type of season.
This is The Hoffman Show on the Team 980 and the Odyssey app.